Okay, looks like we're going live, which is awesome. Really, really awesome. So I'm just letting the electrons do their thing. So Ann Sieg coming at you, founder of the e-commerce business school. Ho ho. Okay, this is impressive. The electrons worked for me today. They didn't yesterday. Only one can guess why some days and not other days. So I'm excited. This is good to see that we are live. So I hope you guys are all staying warm. I'm kind of layered up and bundled. It's been really cold here in my neck of the woods, which is Bella Vista, Arkansas. Had about a 1-inch snowfall a couple days ago, and we get about 1 or 2 a year. And so it can now just move on and get out of the way. Don't want any more of that. But hey, folks, let me know that you can hear me right in the comments section, and want to be able to interact and communicate with you in that way. All right. So, okay, good deal. I agree with you, Coach Kurt. Woohoo! It's all coming together very nicely. So thank you for your help, Coach Kurt. Okay, alrighty, we're just about at the top of the hour, and that's when we'll officially kick off into our Voice of E-commerce session together here today. And this call is really directed towards people who value ongoing education. You get it. You know that you need ongoing personal self-development, and that it's ongoing learning to stay current with the industry that you find yourself in. And in this case, it's definitely e-commerce. You also value being engaged in a like-minded community, that there's a synergy to be had in this give and take relationship, where initially, of course, you receive, but then as you develop as a leader, then you also in turn give back, which helps strengthen you as a leader in your own business. And lastly, you really value implementation. You get it, you understand. You got to put hand in the plow and never look back in order to move your business forward. So you don't treat it as a hobby. You get it. It's got to be treated with consistent implementation. All right. So that being said, greetings. Welcome, everybody. This is Ann Sieg. I'm the founder of the e-commerce business school, and we are going into a session of the Voice of E-commerce. Now, the Voice of E-commerce is the broadcasting arm of the e-commerce business school. And our goal is to prove to the public that we are real people with a real go-giving community. So it's our hope and desire that we can be a part of your e-commerce journey to help strengthen you in that journey and get you to your ultimate destination that you want for yourself. So super excited to have you here. Hi there, Lucinda. Warm in Florida, you don't say. Same as Coach Kurt. Sometimes I feel like people are just kind of rubbing it in, but you know what? I have to admit, I do the same thing back to my beloved friends and family up in Minnesota, for whom I left behind. I really feel sorry for those guys, actually. So who else do we have? Hi there, Robert. Welcome. Okay, good deal. I'm going to go into what I think is a pretty fun and exciting topic. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope you guys get a ton of value out of this, and that most importantly, you may actually change as a human being as a result of this training today. And I call that transformational learning, is when we actually become better and different in transformational learning. You're not the same person that you were, right? So again, this is the Voice of E-commerce, which is the broadcasting arm of the e-commerce business school. Okay, so every Wednesday we will be focusing on business leadership and development. And my little saying about this is, so goes the CEO, so goes the business. I'm kind of stealing from the one, so goes the family, so goes the country. Well, in this case, we're talking about the CEO, and that's you. And I want to bank into you. I want to invest into you so that you can reach the goals that you want, because running a business is a multifaceted skill set. It requires so many different skills. And we talked and trained about that in the last 4 weeks from E-Myth Revisited with Michael Gerber. And he talks about the different hats that we wear. And that's just how it is when you're a CEO, right? Well, the biggest predicator of your success is actually your mindset going into this endeavor of being an entrepreneur. 80% of the battle is won right up here. So we're going to bank into that so we can make you super strong for the journey ahead as an e-commerce seller. That sound good, everybody? Everybody doing good? All right, let's move ahead. I may do this every single time, and that's just my roots. I really think my first mentors, I'll get all choked up just by talking about it. But they taught me the love of learning and leadership, and that's my mom and my pop. My mom and my pop. My dad has a degree in physics. He's actually a doctorate in physics. So he was a professor of physics. And then my mother was, she majored in, she has a degree in education and then literature. So I come from this background of really strong leadership and learning. I'm ever so grateful for that. Hey there. Hi, Judith. Welcome to the call. So let's dig in. And by the way, I'm going to go through this book in small chunks over the next 4 weeks. So this is the kickoff for March. And this is the book. I hope you all can grab a copy, but that's okay if you're like, I don't have time to read in. I'm just going to get your Cliff Notes. That's totally cool. So this is the book, Tribal Leadership, Leveraging Natural Groups to Build a Thriving Organization. So those are the authors there. Pardon me. Okay, this is really the corner piece of the entire book. You can take a screenshot if you want, or if you just run off to Google and you type in tribal leadership and then images, you're going to get a ton of these different images. So let's go through this together. We're going to start at the bottom, way at the bottom. And I highly doubt anyone in this community is at level 1. I would really rather doubt it. So, but let's talk about it. Their language or the stage is, you know what, life sucks. It just sucks. Okay. So, you know, there's people in that, and it's about 2% of folks fall into the number 1. They feel alienated. They feel alone. And their behavior is very undermining. Now, he said, if you really want to see stage 1 at work, you go into the prison system. And then that's where you will see that stage manifested, is that life sucks. And it's a whole nother topic. I just cut out an article in the Wall Street Journal on that. And it actually really breaks my heart that the penal system is so, it's tough. You know, I'm really about the rehabilitation of people and empowering people. I think there's so much more that could be done in the prisons, but I wasn't planning to bring that up, but I do. It's sad. All right, number 2 is my life sucks. So you see the transition. Instead of the whole world, everything sucks. Now, number 2, it goes up a little notch, and my life sucks. So it's not that everybody sucks or the whole world, but my life. Yeah, my life sucks. And the relations are separate. It's like this distancing, and they are the apathetic victim. 25%. Now, to me, that's like a toxic state of being. And so it's really good to be opened up to this, because you might find yourself in there. And then what I notice about the authors too, they said it's kind of fluid. It's not like you land at number 4 and you're just at number 4 all the time. Both that being as a person and then also as a group, that it's fluid and dynamic. You might loop down to number 2 and then you loop back up, right? But what we want to do is evolve up into these 1 or higher levels and remain consistent there. And I'm going to share with you the number 1 way in which you upgrade your stage of tribal leadership, the fastest way. We'll get to that. And if I forget, you write in the comment section, hey, Ann, wait a minute. All right, so apathetic victim, I'm just going to say it for what it is. There is a strong culture that advocates for victimhood, a societal driver to really cultivate and nurture the victimhood mentality. And so I want to make this abundantly clear. Just, you have to see it and note it in the news, etc. I won't get too much more detail than that, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. Here's what I want to say about it. Business right here and being an entrepreneur and victimhood are diametrically opposed. You cannot exist in business in a victimhood mentality. It will absolutely crush and devastate you, 100% guaranteed. And why would I say that? Because the bulk of being in business is about being a problem solver, not someone pointing fingers at problems, right? No, you have to, in business, you own it. You own this puppy and you are responsible and you accept that responsibility. That is diametrically opposed to being an apathetic victim. Everyone with me on that? So you got to say, I will never, ever, ever play victimhood again. Good. That one, let's get out of our way. Number 3 is I'm great, but you're not. So personal domination, I'm going to be the hero girl, the hero boy. I'm going to strut my stuff and just let everybody know how awesome I am. That's what that one is. And they're the lone warrior. If it is to be, it's up to me. Okay. Now that's true in the sense of being in business. It is up to you to do that. But lone warrior, no, the fact that you're in this call right now shows to me that you're not the lone warrior mentality. No, instead you get into a community that supports and encourages you, right? Now, I believe these numbers over here are referring to in the workspace. So 49%, the lion's share fit into that. I'm great and you're not. So I've never been in corporate America, but I've heard, and in the book, they cite example after example after example, you know, as you're climbing the corporate ladder and then the stiletto heel, boom, pokes you in the eye and you are kicked down a few notches where you belong. Okay. That's what I understand to comprise the bulk of the corporate world. And it's why I'm not so keen to go there. And I don't want to replicate that. Okay. Because I get people who are, they wash up as refugees out of the corporate world. And I hear it person after person after person. They say, I nearly died. One gal told me, she literally. And then a gal here, or one of our superstars, that world made her literally sick. She had to quit and go and get rehab. So that's 49%. To me, that's a very toxic kind of mindset. Everybody with me here? Following along? Okay. Number 4, and am I showing the right screen? Let me just check and see. Yeah, I am. Good. Oopsie daisy. I jumped. Didn't mean to do that. Now, we are great. We are great. Stable partnership. Be that you're entrepreneurs, you maybe get into a partner, someone, or your husband and wife team. Hey, we're stable. We are in this together, right? And that's me and my husband. And for sure. We're in this together. Tribal pride. Okay. Like, I love this. And as I read this, this is where I feel my corporate staff, where we land. We have tribal pride. And so that's 22% of the workplace. And then number 5 is life is great. It's awesome. So team-oriented, innocent, and wonderment. So one example they give is in the 1980 Olympics with the U.S. men's hockey team under Herb Brook. And he had been working with them, and then came, you know, the U.S. team, and now it's Olympics. So they give that as an example of life is great. Okay, so what I want you to do is twofold, is identify for yourself where you think you fall, and then think of it relative to the communities you are in. I'm going to assume you're in multiple communities, but you're definitely part of this community. I think I know how Judith feels about our community, and God love you. I really appreciate those beautiful comments you've been providing us with. Well, here are the stage of tribal leadership with these 2 primary markers. The words that people use, the language. Listen to the words. Listen. Everywhere you go now, you're going to have a different lens, and you're going to be able to quickly identify, you know, this is for you to for one, gauge and identify that. And then quite frankly, you don't want to be a part of stage 1, 2, or even 3, like where it's all the dude strutting his stuff for the girl. No. You want to be in a we focus, because that lifts up and empowers everybody. Okay. So watch, listen to the words, and then their relationships with people. Is he belittling? Are there humiliation tactics? Or is it, hey, you know what? Let's go through this. What did you learn from this experience? And maybe what could we do differently the next time? That's a forward moving thing, rather than when there's shame and humiliation, it takes people back and they go into a more guarded and protected manner, right? So note those, like if you're watching a program or whatever it may be, start to drill this into your psyche. All right, now let's keep going. So we're going to go in today's session here, we're just going to go through each stage, giving further definition to it, and then we'll give it a wrap. Okay. So stage 1, 2%, they do undermining. So life sucks. There's no point to values, vision, or morality. That's depressing, isn't it? There's a proverb that says, thank you, Judith. There's a proverb that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. When you take away hope, when you take away a vision, without a vision, people perish. So like, that's like the darkness. All right. So there it is. Our prison system drives people to the bottom of stage 1. Stage 1 fosters despair, hostility, and hopelessness. Sad. It's really tragic and sad. So now we're on to step 2. And this seems to be a growing part of the population, because it's actually being advocated for. There's this whole massive advocacy for victimhood. And we're just going to widen and find as many people as possible who can claim to be victims. Run the other way. Anyone ever preaches you that message, there is a hidden trap behind that, and that is control. All right. So here at stage 2, they tend to be passive, doing the minimum amount of work necessary to get by. And you can just see it in their demeanor, right? They're just floating through. At stage 2, people believe they cannot act creatively, where jobs are so mechanized that they feel like they're part of a machine. They're just a cog in the system. So what am I teaching here? I'm teaching, my ultimate goal is to develop entrepreneurs to change the dynamics of their family economics and have a positive impact and force in the world for good, right? That's more empowering, and not just focus on mechanics. So energy spent, this is what the behaviors are, in the quiet protest of the boss and company, which encourages random acts of ruthlessness. Seems to be about a week ago on Monday in the paper, some guy walked into some store and did a shooting. I think he was let go. So that's stage 2. That's stage 2, folks. If you're in a work environment like that, get out of there. Your safety is at stake. It's unhealthy. They believe their destiny is not their own. It's someone else. They got to fall into that person's destiny, and they don't get to fulfill their own. So what do you know? We have a daily call titled Daily Dose of Destiny. And the whole thrust of that is to help you get your destiny. So at stage 2, they believe my words are not powerful because nothing changes with any amount of grievances. Again, this referring to the workplace primarily. That to me is a completely dysfunctional, broken system. And, you know, I'm a family gal, raised my 3 boys. And if I didn't have an ear towards my sons, then you lose their spirit. They shut down. It's not worth speaking up. No one listens to me. I feel so disempowered and disenfranchised. It's ugly. It's unhealthy. This is the stage of the proverbial golden handcuffs. So I had a client here about 7-8 years ago. She was that. She made a whopping great income. But she said, Ann, I nearly died. Died. And so I think she ended up in the hospital. and she was in the golden handcuffs. Giving up and banding together in a support group for the oppressed. So this is when you know it's a very dysfunctional people group, when you start to see those kind of behaviors take place. I'm just curious, have any of you ever experienced this kind of stuff? Just write in the panel, have you ever been in a workplace where you've experienced this 25, stage 2, I should say. Okay, let's go into this one, and then we're gonna have 2 more and we'll give it a wrap. Stage 3 is 49%, that's the lone warrior. A desire to work with people like themselves who are gifted, hardworking people. The I'm great attitude fuels their drive to perform. I just want everyone to know that I'm pretty freaking awesome, right? That kind of an attitude. I have to admit, I find myself a little bit in this, only in that I was raised to be a performer and a producer, but I really believe in empowering others. But I can relate to some of these. Despite preaching empowerment, their company operates by giving and taking orders. It's just lip service. Have you ever been in an organization where it's like they read a manual or a book and, oh, I'm supposed to use these kind of words, I better use them. Well, you can only, you can only fabricate something for so long, and people go, know what, your actions are speaking way, way louder than your words, right, folks? You know what I mean by that. Stage 3 view is that people are where they are because they work for it, and others aren't because they gave up. So kind of this sense of superiority that I got here from my hard work and stripes on my back, and those others, they just never bootstrapped to where I was able to achieve. All right, I'm great and you're not. And furthermore, I want you to know I got the stats to prove it. So that too sounds like a dysfunctional, sick culture, doesn't it? I mean, it may be true. You know, I pride myself on being a producer. I have to be. I'm in charge of revenue for the company. So I take a really hard look at my actions to make sure I'm getting the job done, right? But I sure do know that I work in this community of people, my staff, to help bring it to execution. So I can't take the credit, right? All righty. Okay. Thank you, Judith. She worked at Walmart and U-Haul too. Lip service and just do as I say. Jean here, yes, stage 2 workplace back in 2010, 2012. Okay, now stage 4, establishing tribal leadership. A company is only as strong as the culture of its tribe. The tribal antennae is an intuitive ability to find people who can contribute to success on a larger scale than one person working alone, and who value her help and return. So this is just an acknowledgement. You can't, no matter how awesome you are, your work ethic, your production level, etc., is a humble acknowledgement. And there would lie in the word, the attribute of humility and humbleness, that you can't do it alone, no matter how great and awesome you are, and that you need other people. Now, that intuitive ability is really key. I could go in a lot of training on doing hiring practices and whatnot. And what I ascribe to is I tell people when we do the hiring interviews, I'm looking more for a person to fulfill a vision than I am to fill a position. So yeah, I need this position filled. This is true enough. But I tell them straight up, I'm more interested in someone who can fulfill the vision of my company. And that is a cultural attribute. And I need them to like jive with and like what I'm doing as a vision. And that kind of breaks loose out of this whole little, you're going to be in your little silo and you just better do what you need to do in your silo. No, they're now integrated into the whole because of the vision casting. That's like, wow. So you're telling me if I do that part here, I can help reach that awesome vision that you're doing jointly with your team, man, I would love that. And so that's what serves as my linchpin. Is it's more about fulfilling a vision than it is the actual position. All right, so if we are going to measure what makes a leader, it would be to measure how nurturing people are. Let that sink in for a moment. If they're leading people, barking orders does not develop leaders. Amen and amen, right? It's taking the time as you're working with them, that it's meant to be kind of this symbiotic relationship of listening and hearing. And it's kind of this going back and forth to work together rather than I'm here, I'm going to bark out at you this and get it done. In fact, I just literally on a marketing piece, I just wrote to one of my members. I said, well, I gave my alternative view and I said, you know what, push back and give me alternative view as you have them. Like push back, because I'm seeing it this way, but you know what? Give me what you got over there. Symbiotic. That strengthens us in our thinking capabilities, which makes us, increases our brain trust, if that makes sense. If I just bark out orders, I don't get the best out of people, right? So I hope that one makes sense. Stage 4, a couple more. Everything stages at stage 4. People identify with the group and its values. In stage 4 organizations, it's common for employees not to list their job titles on cards. It becomes more immaterial. It's not so much about that position. It's more about the vision that I have put myself behind, and my work is a piece of the puzzle to help get it there. Values are the heart of all we're great tribes values. So that takes someone who is clear on their values, clear on their vision, has a heart for conveying those values and vision to people. And you know what? That needs to be ongoing and consistent. Like it serves as this North Star for the community that you're serving, not just something you tape on the wall. Artificial, I mean, you can put it on writing, that's great, but is it in the heart? Is it in the heart? People can tell the difference, right? Stage 5, life is great. It's marked by life is great language devoid of any competitor. Now, it's not that competitors don't exist. It's just that they don't matter. It's inconsequential. Their vision is so big, it doesn't matter. In fact, they see it, that competition, you know what, we'll probably be working with them anyways. They're just part of our network. In fact, I can see some ways that we could work together. So what they all have in common is tribal leadership is taken to the next level, and it's a level of performance that makes history, like the men's Olympic, hockey team from 1980. Boom, historic performance. I think of Jack Ma from Alibaba, whom I went to see him speak. I was so glad I did. I hear he's retiring. And he has a mark in history for what he's done. Very, very impressive. Okay, a tribe operating. Oh, thank you, Judith. Hey, no problem, Peter, welcome. From the UK, right? So again, wrapping up with stage 5, life is great. A tribe operating at stage 5 acts like a magnet for other groups that can help in their pursuit of a noble cause. Now, in subsequent trainings, I'm going to go into what a noble cause is, but they have this magnetizing energy about them because they have this such a big vision and scope that it's electrifying, and it attracts other people into that vision. In time, many stage 5 leaders go to work for a cause in which they bring together multiple tribes to achieve an outcome for greater than any single one could do alone. So they're really a unifier is what they are. And I'm much more for this happening at a business level than I'm going to say a political level. I much prefer the world of business as a cause for good and effect in the world. So No, we'll move on. There we go. So this is all part of my AnSafeBookClub.com, and you need to know that in 1 hour, I'm going to be hopping in on a separate call where I'm going to go. It's a full 1 hour presentation where I go through the entire book. But here at E-commerce Business School, I'll be doing these in supposed to be 15-minute segment. It went to 30. But if you want to join my book club, that's where I go into a full discussion on this. And then, oh, I didn't mention TLC leadership development. Basically, I do a mastermind call with my TLC members. So if you're like, I want to be a part of a higher tribal group, higher level, higher stage, you can just write TLC in the comments section below or email support@ecommercebusinessschool.com. And that's where we get into more of a masterminding in a live call where everyone's unmuted and really discuss things at a leadership level. All right. So I know you got in here late, Peter. That's okay. This has been recorded. And I've really enjoyed sharing this information with you guys. And any little comment below would be great relative to one little takeaway. And this actually is an exercise in your own leadership skills. What's one little takeaway, what you learned? Just what did you learn here? One little teeny snippet. That would mean a lot to me. Okay, well, good deal. Alrighty, thanks everyone for being here. We're going to give it a wrap. And those of you who formally join in my ANSI book club, you'll be able to join me. And I do this once a month, and it just so happens it's today at 1 o'clock, where I'm going to go through this book in entirety through my notes. So I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, thank you. Feel free to do a share if you think this would be valuable to your own Facebook friends, if you deem it suitable. All righty, till then, God bless. We'll be talking to you all soon. Bye-bye.